Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I'm so excited to show you this brand new stamp and die set from Art Impressions. It's these adorable little koalas. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is this adorable koala set, and you get all of these cute little sentiments. And that little one in the teacup there, I'm planning on doing a card on in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. But today we're going to be using that little set of koalas down at the bottom there. Now for dies, I'm going to take the rounded rectangle double stitch dies, and I'm going to be taking the largest one and the fourth largest one from this set. I'm using for paper today the Strathmore Bristol Smooth 100-pound cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the purple tape and just tape this down a little bit here because I want to place this smaller frame inside this larger panel. And what I want to do is make sure I have an equal amount on the bottom and the two sides. And I want to tape that down really securely just to make sure it doesn't move. So again, I have the same amount of space on the two sides and on the bottom. Now I'm turning this on a little bit of an angle just to make it really easy to run through my die cutting machine. And that's going to give us this panel with this frame in it. And we're going to keep both pieces for this project. And that gives you also that little stitch line around that frame. So we're going to be turning it around there, having the opening at the top of the card. And I'm using a standard A2 size top folding card, so it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just pressing that out with my bone folder. So you can see that's how the card will come together. So I'm going to attach the coordinating die to my little koalas and die cut those. So for colors, I'm using dark gray, light gray, gray brown, and tea rose. So these are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens, and they're a water-based marker. And to do my blending, I'm going to be using the blender pen. And you just want to scribble it on your scrap paper until it goes clear, and then you'll know that it's clean. So if you're switching colors, just scribble it until it goes clear. And now here I'm adding the gray brown. And I'm going to keep those darker shadows down towards the bottom here. And you can add a few layers of the gray brown until you get just the right shadowing. Again, you could also use a water brush here if you prefer. Either one will work. And I know a lot of people ask me about the paper that I use. I like to use the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. It just makes it really easy to blend this out. So try your different cardstocks. If your blending is not going as well as you want it to, just switch out your cardstock and see if something else will work better. Here I'm adding the tea rose to the cheeks and to the ears. And the reason I selected that color is because it has a little bit of a peachy tone to it. And that's going to blend in really well with the background that we're creating in a little while. So I like to kind of use a circular motion when I'm blending the fur on the animals. It just gives it a little bit more of a random look. And then for the nose, I'm using the dark gray, and I'm going to put the darkest color at the top and then just pull it down towards the bottom of the nose. And that'll give it a little bit of a highlight. So I'm going to continue doing that for all of these little bears here. And I just think this set is just so adorable and has so many possibilities. And I love that you get quite a few sentiments that go with this set. And whenever you get a lot of sentiments, I think that just provides more opportunities for different ways to use your stamps. And I always, when I'm looking to buy stamps, I always want to buy something that I know is going to have many uses, that I can use it for many different things. And in this stamp set, you get a lot of cute sentiments as well. One says Koala-tea Time. Another one says I heart koalas. One is just cute and cuddly. Another one says happy birthday, have a Koala-tea Time, TEA. Another one says hugs, which we're going to be using today. And the last one is you are top Koala-tea. So really cute set, and the coordinating dies, which is something new for Art Impressions to include the dies, which I really love because it just eliminates a lot of the fussy cutting that we normally have to do. So this again is just a really cute set. And as far as that set goes, with the little teacups I mentioned earlier, the teacups and confetti and the little koala sitting on top, I'm going to be creating a card shortly using that set. And I want it to be either a birthday card or maybe even a New Year's celebration card. So again, kind of look at the stamps and see what kind of different things you can do with them. So here I'm still blending out, and I'm trying to add the shadows kind of where the little bears meet, where their bodies kind of come together. That's where the shadows would be. And so I'm just adding those shadows in and then blending that out. So this card was also inspired by the current Art Impressions blog challenge, which is called Pet Project. And so any little critters or animals that you have would be fun to include in a card. So I chose to use these cute little koalas. But you can check out at the Art Impressions blog all the different ideas and all the things the Art Impressions design team has done with these. This was very relaxing to color in. I just took my time and just kind of, I don't know, just with the few colors, it wasn't difficult. It was just a few simple colors and a simple bit of blending as well. So it's very relaxing to color these little guys in. So I colored that last little koala in the exact same way. So there you can see all these cute little cuddly koalas all together. So now I'm using my clear stamps from Art Impressions, and I'm going to use those two little corners, those leafy corners. And this is the Greenery Invite set. And I've used this for so many different things. I love this set. It's very versatile. So I've placed those in my mini Misty stamp positioner. I'm inking them up with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Again, stamping with the Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock. And I'm using green, mid-green, and olive green to color in my leaves. I am going to add a little bit of yellow later on here. So for this one, I'm using all three colors, the light, the medium, and the dark. So for this shape leaf, I'll be using all three colors, and I'm going to do all of this shape the exact same way. Now for this shape leaf here, this kind of oblong leaf shape, I'm going to be using the medium green and the darker green and just blending that out. But later on, I will add a little yellow to these as well, just to give them a little bit of a highlight. So all of this shape will be the exact same way. So just some really simple coloring here. And again, using my blender to blend those colors out. And then to do this shape leaf here, I'm going to be using the green and the mid green. So the leaves, even though we're using basically the same three colors, we're just mixing them up enough just to give it a little bit of variety. So I'm going to finish coloring in all of these leaves now. And if you get too much ink on your blender pen, again, just scribble it onto your scrap paper. You can always remove ink from these if you feel like you have just a little too much. And if you notice here, I'm adding all three colors at one time and then just blending it out. So I'm not being fussy here at all. I just want to get that little bit of a shadow there. Now with yellow and mid green, I'm going to go in and do these leaves here. I decided to add a little bit more yellow here. So I want to keep these leaves here a little bit lighter. Again, just adding different tones of leaves here, just for a little bit of variety. Then I am going to come in with that yellow and just add a few little highlights to these little oblong looking leaves here. Just again for a little bit more of a highlight. And I'll do the exact same thing for the other set of leaves, and you can see that up close. Now I just want to trim these out with my scissors, so I'm using my detail scissors, and I'm just going to go around these, leaving a little white border all the way around. So just get as much detail as you can here. Don't be too fussy. That little white border is actually going to look really pretty when we put this together. So I trimmed those both down, and you can see those there. Now, for this little insert, this is the insert from the frame that we die cut. I'm using Fruit Punch and Lemon Drop. These are the Hero Hues Reactive inks. And I'm going to add that lemon drop all over this panel. So I'm just going to apply a nice even coating all over the entire panel. And then I'm introducing the Fruit Punch, and I'm going to go from the bottom up towards the top there. So the bottom will be the long side there. So I'm just going to apply that color and blend it up into that lemon drop color. And then I'm going back to the lemon drop applicator just to do a little bit more blending. Now, because these are reactive inks, they're going to react really well to water. So I'm going to take my Tim Holtz Distress Sprayer and spritz these with a little bit of water. That's going to give me that nice little spattered effect on our background. Now with the panel, I also want to create a little bit of a spattery effect. So I'm going to blend these two colors together. So I'm using those same two ink pads. I'm spritzing them with a little bit of water. I placed them on my glass media mat, and I'm trying to get to that mid-tone on that panel that we created, that little bit more orangey tone. So I'm going to blend these two together just to get the right color here. And I'm going to spatter this panel with this blended color. I'm going to heat set that really quickly with my heat tool. And now I've got my little koalas, and I can go ahead and attach them to this panel. I'm using my Gina K Connect glue, and I'm going to make sure I glue this down really well. I'm pushing it down past the bottom of that panel a little bit, and we're going to cut away that excess. Now I want to find out where this needs to sit on my card. So the easiest way to do this is to take my frame and center it on my card. So I'm going to just temporarily position this in place so I know exactly where to put that little panel. I'm taping this down with some purple tape, and now I can go ahead and glue this panel in place. It's easier to do it this way because we are going to be popping up the frame, and it's a little bit more difficult to get everything centered. So if you just lay this down temporarily, then attach your panel, again, it just makes it a lot easier to get everything positioned properly. So I'm just going to make sure I have glue right up to the edges here, and then I can go ahead and glue that down. I'm going to use my bone folder just to make sure I press down all those edges so that everything's nice and secure. Now I can lift that frame off. I'm just going to remove that purple tape. And now I can go ahead and pop up the frame. So I'm going to apply some Scotch foam mounting tape around the back of this. I'm just going to cut this in half just to stretch the tape a little bit further. But you do want to make sure you have enough around that frame so it doesn't collapse at all. Now right here is where I'm going to attach some twine, and this is just some baker's twine that I had. It's kind of an orange and white combination. And I'm just going to wrap that around a couple of times, and then I'm going to tie a bow on the front. I want to make sure that it's nice and tight here. Then I'm going to flip that over and tie a bow on the front of my card. And since I don't have enough hands here to hold this, I'm going to use my reverse tweezers. These are the Sizzix reverse tweezers, and just clamp that down while I tie this bow. That just makes it a lot easier. Now I'll just snip away the excess there. And I can go ahead and remove the backing from that tape and attach this to my card. And now it's really easy to line that up right with that panel on the center of the card. Now I've got my little greenery corners here, and I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on these. And they are going to overlap that frame just a little bit, so don't put glue all the way up to the top there. And here I was fussing around with these little corners. I couldn't decide which one I wanted where, so I did end up switching these. You'll see that here in a second. So I ended up wanting that other one down in the bottom here. So I just switched these two around. And once you have those attached, you can see that little part hangs over the frame. So just to be sure it wouldn't collapse at all, I'm going to cut a couple little small chunks of the Scotch foam mounting tape, and I'm just going to slide those up underneath there. Again, just to make sure it lays nice and flat there. So for the sentiment, I'm using the tag stitch dies, again from Art Impressions, and I'm going to grab that little banner. I'm placing it on the Hugs sentiment, and I'm just lining that up so it's nice and straight. I ran it through my Sizzix Sidekick machine. I placed a little bit of the foam mounting tape on the back of that, and I'm positioning that up in the upper left-hand corner of my frame. So here's a closer look at our completed card. And again, I just love these little guys. They're so cute. And we've got a lot of dimension here. So I hope you enjoyed today's card. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.